Alright, everybody, and welcome back to my series, Yesterday in Sports. I want to go and get right into it without further ado. Alright, so starting off, yesterday was the start of the U.S. Open Golf. It's the 125th U.S. Open in Oakmont Country Club, Pennsylvania, featuring a challenging par 70 layout and a purse of $21.5 million. J.J. Spellman led the field with a bogey-free 66, one stroke ahead of Tristan Lawrence. Patrick Reed achieved an albatross on the par 5 fourth hole, the first in the U.S. Open since 2012. However, top players like Scottie Scheffler, who shot 3 over, and Rory McIlroy shot 4 over, faced difficulties, with McIlroy's back 9, including 4 bogeys and a double bogey. The scoring average for the round was 74.63, marking the highest first-round average since 2018. Alright, now moving on to the NHL Stanley Cup Final. Game 4 was last night. The Edmonton Oilers edged out the Florida Panthers with a 5-4 victory, evening the series at 2 apiece. The decisive goal came late in the third period, setting the stage for a pivotal Game 5 in Edmonton. The Panthers were up 3-0 while Edmonton scored 3 back. Florida took the lead, and then Edmonton took the lead at 4. Florida tied it up with 17 seconds to go going into overtime, and Edmonton got the win. Moving on to the MLB, final scores from the MLB there. The Astros beat the White Sox 4-3, while the Cubs edged out the Pirates 3-2. The Brewers beat the Cardinals 6-0, while the Royals got edged out by the Yankees 1-0 there. The Tigers beat the Orioles in Baltimore 4-1, while the Rockies walked off the Giants 8-7. The Rangers obliterated the Twins 16-3, while the Mets edged out the Nationals 4-3 at Citi Field. Moving on to the NFL, the Commanders Stadium deal faces a deadline. The Commanders proposed a $3.8 billion stadium deal at the RFK site, and it is at risk due to political disputes that D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser warns that funding delays could jeopardize $2.7 million in private investment, while Council Chair Phil Mendelssohn argues that there is still time to meet the team's 2030 deadline. The Commanders recently concluded their minicamp with notable performances and concerns, including injuries to receivers Noah Brown and Michael Gallup. And then the UFL Championship game has been set for June 14th, featuring the DC Defenders and the Michigan Panthers. The game will take place at the Dome at American Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Both teams advance to the final after securing victories in their respective conference championship games on June 8th. Moving on to the NBA Game 3 recap from Tuesday night, Wednesday night, the NBA Final Series between the Lakers and the Heat. Wait, what? Moving on to the Major League Rugby. The rugby season is nearing its conclusion with conference finals scheduled for June 14th to the 15th. The top teams from each conference will compete in a spot for the championship final, set to take place later in June. Moving on to the Major League Soccer, the Austin FC's midseason struggles. At the midpoint of the 2025 MLS season, Austin holds a 6-5-7 record, placing them among the lowest scoring teams with only 13 goals in 18 matches. Despite recent investments, no Austin FC players are projected for the MLS All-Star Game, which will be held at their home venue, Q2 Stadium, on July 23rd. The MLS clubs in international competitions, all 30 clubs are participating in North American Cup competitions, including the CONCACAF Champions Cup, the Elites Cup, and the U.S. Open Cup, and the Canadian Championship. Notably, Seattle Sounders FC and the Inter Miami CF will represent the MLS in the FIFA World Cup this summer. And then moving on to the European soccer, in the FIFA Club World Cup 2025, it was set to commence, featuring the elite teams such as the Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. The tournament promises high-level performances and global attention as the clubs compete for the coveted title. And then the UEFA Women's Euro 2025, the 14th edition, will be held in Switzerland from July 2nd to the 27th in 2025. The England enters as the defending champions, aiming to retain their title in the expanded 16-team tournament. And in the Euro Winners' Cup 2025, the 13th edition, an annual continental beach soccer tournament for the men's top division European clubs, is taking place in Portugal from June 8th to the 15th. The event features 36 teams competing in a round-robin group stage, followed by knockout rounds. And then in the Premier Lacrosse League, and matchups for June 13th and the 14th. The PLL's Week 3 games are scheduled for June 13th and the 14th at Villanova Stadium in Philadelphia. We got the Boston Cannons versus the Philadelphia Water Dogs, the California Redwoods versus the Utah Archers on Friday, and the New York Atlas versus the Maryland Whipsnakes, and the Denver Outlaws take on the Philadelphia Water Dogs on Saturday. All right, so that is going to be the Premier Lacrosse League, and that is yesterday in sports. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and peace.